Howdy, howdy, fellas. We got day one of MLB playoffs in the books. We're moving to look at day two on the 30th of September. Excited to run through the slate with you. We had a longer than we thought members only video. There's a lot to discuss. There's 8 games. It's almost like a full regular season.
Yeah, it's the biggest playoff game ever, or biggest playoff slate ever, for sure.
All right. So your Indians not off to a good start. Fortunately, my Brewers got like the easiest matchup in the world, the Dodgers tomorrow, right?
Yeah, right?
We get Lindblom. They have to roll with Walker Buehler. Sucks to be them, man.
Yeah, you guys were in such a great spot.
It's going to be hilarious, though. We talked about this on members only. If like some of these matchups, like the Marlins beat the Cubs, or if the Brewers beat the Dodgers, it's just going to be kind of anything can happen in a 3-game series, but it'll be kind of embarrassing, especially for the Dodgers.
No doubt.
I'm a Brewers fan, but they're not very good.
Mm-mm.
All right, guys. So we bring it up on a daily basis. We spoke with the owners of Overlay over the weekend. They want to keep rolling with this promotion we've had going the last couple of weeks. It basically works like this. You guys have heard us been talking about Overlay for the last year. If you haven't played yet, this matchup shop is on fire. Go sign up and play. Screenshot your initial deposit, send it to me, and I'll hook you up with a free membership of the DFS 5-pack. Like, legitimately, you can have a free lifetime membership to everything we do if you make a $1,000 deposit on Overlay. It's like one-on-one sports betting. If you watch the show today, I just told everybody lock in Maeda and lock in Giolito. Both won easy. We even said probably go ahead and do a parlay of the two of them, so it should have been a nice day. Let's go win some money, guys. Any one of these deposits will get you a free membership. Let's rock and roll.
Let's get it.
Day passes. Don't forget about the day passes, too, up on the website. You get baseball and basketball tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Sub to the station if you're new to it. Thumbs up is appreciated. So we talked about Shane Bieber on the show. Told you guys that he's going to be the popular pitcher. It made a lot of sense today. But ultimately, it was his first playoff start, and it didn't go well. So we decided to take a look at a different guy today, a guy who has a ton of playoff experience, and it was your first choice, Kyle Hendricks of the Chicago Cubs. I hadn't been looking at him as closely as you are, but we're definitely on the same page on this one now. This guy's got over 50 innings in his postseason career. He's got a sub-3 ERA in those 50 innings. He gets Miami. There's no Bartman in the stands this time around, so we don't have to worry about those shenanigans. And the other thing is, like, it's good pitching weather in the Midwest right now. I know you're a Cleveland guy. I'm here in Wisconsin. It ain't so nice out.
No, it's not crazy hot, not by any means. He's just way too cheap also, 7,700. We always like him at home. This is a lock and load play for me. Miami's not awful, but they're one of the worst offenses on this slate, so he just makes all the sense in the world. Interesting that they're not starting Darvish here, but I'll take it, and I'll use Hendricks all over in DFS.
You know, that tells you something about how much they trust this guy. Oh, we didn't even mention the fact he's at home. This guy is, for his career, an excellent, excellent pitcher at home.
I definitely mentioned it, and I'm glad you reiterated it.
Okay, well, I did not hear it, and so I'm wrong. You were right. You're good looking. I'm ugly. Let's keep rolling along.
Let's do it.
All right, man. So we talked about the Cardinals on this slate and how there's certain teams you like in the postseason. The Minnesota Twins, clearly not one of them. And other teams that are just as lackluster and as boring as they come. You don't know how they're winning because their pitching staff's not that good. Their hitting isn't that good. But they just find ways to win. That's the St. Louis Cardinals. And we both agree the Padres have all the flash in the world. But I think we both like the Cardinals to win this series despite being significantly less talented up and down the board. It starts with their leadoff hitter, Colton Wong, matched up with Chris Paddock, who is one of the weaker pitchers on this slate. He doesn't have a lot of power this year with only 1 home run, but the guy is very capable of hitting homers. He's also capable of stealing a base, and he's very affordable at a weaker position.
Yeah, we've seen it before. Leading off at 3,600, could easily see 5 at-bats here. And, man, the big reason why I think I'll speak for you, like St. Louis here, like, Paddock is a clear number 3 for me on San Diego, way behind Lamet and Clevenger. I'm not sure if those guys, I know Clevenger had a little injury, flare up, but that's a big reason I like St. Louis here is because I think they get to Paddock.
All right, I could definitely see him getting to Paddock. St. Louis is just a team from the top down. This organization is run right. As a Brewers fan, I hate it, but I do respect it, and that's why I like looking at Colton Wong tomorrow.
Amen.
All right, next up. So let's talk about Justin Turner of the Los Angeles Dodgers going up against my Milwaukee Brewers tomorrow. So, again, postseason and regular season is different. Coming fresh off of the NBA playoffs, not to toot my own horn, but I'm going to toot my own horn, multiple GPP wins throughout the playoffs. And a big part of that is that we play so much regular season DFS that we forget that the postseason is just a different game. And I think people will look to pick on Lindblom tomorrow, but the talk about Lindblom is he's really bad against left-handed hitters. Now that shit's true. No argument here. He is terrible against lefties. So I think people are going to look at the Bellingers and the Muncies and the Seagers. And those guys are clearly in play. The flip side of the equation is Lindblom's probably only going to go through this lineup once. And if he goes twice through the lineup, it's because he's balling and not giving up points to some of those guys. Meanwhile, you get Justin Turner, a guy who flies a little bit under the radar for the Los Angeles Dodgers, probably at lower ownership than some of those other guys. Career batting average over 300 in the playoffs, 9 career home runs in the playoffs. This is a guy that is battle-tested and ready to go in the biggest moments.
Yeah, we like him a lot here. It's kind of like zigging while everyone else zags. But with a chalky lineup, everyone likes the Dodgers here, but they're going to gravitate towards the lefties, as you mentioned. All those guys are obviously in play because they'd be in play no matter who they're facing. But you're right. If Lindblom sees all these guys, a second, third time, that means he's pitching well. Sure, they could hit a couple home runs against him, but a full stack's not going to do much. I love the Turner call, the Betts call. We talked about it on the members only video, but specifically Turner, great in the playoffs, in good form right now. A lot to like here.
You can only play so many Dodgers, right? So I think like Seager and Bellinger is where people go. They might even look to Muncy. They might look to use Will Smith at catcher because he's a really good hitting catcher. Yeah, and then if you want a righty, you probably want Betts, with that elite power and speed. So I think Turner, it's not like you're going to get him at 1% or anything, but he's going to be, I would imagine, low owned by the Dodgers players.
Agreed.
So, and again, this is a guy, we use this term a lot. It's kind of become the new cog in the machine term, but cut of his jib. This guy comes ready to play in big moments, so I expect him to produce.
No doubt.
I still remember this guy hitting a monster home run against the Brewers 2 years ago in Game 2. Flipped that series around. He's the reason that they won.
Sure did.
All right. Now, speaking of guys who clearly like the playoffs, your boy Josh Naylor was the bright spot for your Cleveland Indians this evening. Long double, home run, and the key number here is 2,100.
Another single, and he's going to get one more at bat. And I'm praying he can, drive one more out because it would be awesome for my showdown lineups. He looks good right now. Made an amazing play in the field. He's definitely the best player on the Indians tonight. Only 2,100. Good lefty power. Hit 6 for the Indians tonight. No way he's hitting lower than that tomorrow. Indians got rolled today, but that doesn't mean anything for tomorrow. I think you can look at a cheap Naylor as a filler piece in all formats.
Right. We used this term when we were into the members only video of in the playoffs, some people, their palms get sweaty and they're less. And that looked to happen to your starting pitcher tonight. Not saying he couldn't come back, if they were somehow to advance next series and feel better and pitch really, really well because he's so good. But the palms got sweaty tonight. Josh Naylor is one of those guys who picks himself up by his bootstraps and is like, guy, this ready to roll because he looked awesome tonight.
No doubt about it.
All right. Next up, speaking of guys who maybe look off a lot, but find times to be productive when it matters the most. I'm talking about one of my Milwaukee Brewers, Orlando Arcia. So, want to get weird with it? Let's get weird. What do you think Arcia's ownership is tomorrow? 2%?
1%. Maybe 1%? Less.
Maybe less? Okay. So let's look for a guy with really low ownership in GPPs because a lot of good players are going to get bad scores in postseason baseball. I know the Yankees went off tonight, but most teams did not put up a ton of runs today because it's playoff baseball. So it doesn't take as much. You don't see a lot of guys hitting 3 home runs like they did in the regular season. Orlando Arcia is not a great hitter. I've watched enough bad at-bats of his over the years that I can say with full confidence, swings at a lot of bad pitches, susceptible to the slider. However, this is a dude that really tightens it up in big moments. Last year, or 2 years ago when they played the Dodgers in the playoffs, he was 9 of 25 with 2 home runs to only 2 Ks. So while some guys, the palms get sweaty, think about some really good hitters that have bad playoff experience. This guy's the opposite. He's not a great hitter in the regular season, but when things come down to it, he makes hits when it matters.
That's all you care about, right? He's also another guy in good form right now. So we talked about it. You're going to get him 1%, maybe less owned. He's 3K in the late games. You got some exposure there. Again, it's certainly not like a cog in the machine or a guy you're locking in all formats, but I like him in tournaments for all of the reasons you mentioned.
Yeah, and let's just say, for example, because we discussed the Dodgers for a long time on the members only video. They get the weakest starting pitcher, then they get probably a bunch of bullpen innings, and they are, if not the best, one of the top 3 offenses in baseball, along with the Braves and the Yankees. So everybody knows that you're not sneaking up with anybody on the Dodgers. Get weird with it on one pick outside of them. Skip Seager, go with Arcia. Play Turner instead, right? Like, you don't have to get like off the reservation with every single pick. Pick one weird guy like this and then play some good players like Cody Bellinger.
Amen.
All right, guys, that's what we got for you today. Anything else to throw in, Mr. Bellman?
That's all I got.
All right, guys, don't forget to click the thumbs up on the video. Appreciate all you guys do for us. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.